Maybe I should complicate this before I start speaking here.
Welcome to Comics League Movie Night. I'm Jared, and I'm here with Nick from the Phoenix Press. What's up, dude?
Hello.
So as we promised today, we are talking Flashpoint, the first movie in DCAMU. Now, JJheat and Taladio will show up eventually. So first, we're going to start off.
They'll just show up in a flash.
Yeah, exactly. So Nick's here, and so it's actually good. He's not as familiar with the story of Flashpoint, so I'm gonna.
It's almost as if I didn't even do my homework and watch the movie.
Well, true, but so we're gonna do it this way. We're going to essentially, I'm gonna essentially sort of go over the plot of Flashpoint, the basic plot for you, so you can understand what's going on. Because the movie and comic go exactly the same, practically. So basically, the idea. The movie starts off in the pre-New 52 universe, in that there's a robbery at the Flash Museum.
Just to be clear, this is post-crisis universe, right?
Post-crisis universe, yeah, exactly. So actually, the way that what actually happened was that at the time in DC Comics, here's the origin of Flashpoint. So Flashpoint started off as just a regular Flash story. But at the same time, DC wanted to update and make Superman more relevant. So they upgraded his armor. They sort of did away with the marriage of Lois and improved the character in my mind.
Where have I heard that before? One more day!
Yeah, but they did it in a better way. But what they did is they decided, hey, you know what? Why don't we just reboot the entire line and use Flashpoint to do that? So they
Marvel
changed
stealing all of DC, stealing all of Marvel's worst ideas and somehow doing them slightly better.
This was a good idea that was executed poorly.
But what I mean by that is a storyline gone awry. This is Clone Saga all over again.
Hey! Do not compare Flashpoint and the New 52 to Clone Saga.
No, my point of comparison is Clone Saga was supposed to be one thing, and then it just kind of morphed into what else, and it just kind of spiraled out of control. And
kind of.
That's where I'm comparing.
Well, let me put it this way: Clone Saga started off crappy, so the New 52 actually led to a massive boost in comics because you didn't have to read anything to understand what's going on. But anyway,
I was there, by the way. I was there for the launch of the New 52, and I actually read to a couple of books for a year. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, and that was the era where I first 100% got into comics. So anyway, so going back into the movie. So the movie starts off in the post-crisis, pre-New 52 universe. And hey, what's up, Daryl Taylor? What's up, Jared? We're watching Justice Flashpoint Paradox right now on HBO Max. Great movie. Hey, Sage Taurus. So
how you doing?
So the movie starts off in this the rogues are robbing the Flash Museum, or they'll just messing around. The Flash shows up. He kicks ass.
Are the alarms flashing?
Yeah, exactly. So nice one. I'll give you that one. That's a good one. But so what happens is, it turns out that this whole thing was started by Eobard Thawne, and he ran as he makes his entrance.
It was me, Barry.
Yeah, exactly. He attaches bombs to all of the rogues' belts and attaches and sticks Flash to the wall. And then what happens is Flash actually uses his vibrational powers and throws the basically cement at Eobard and sticks him to a wall, and he says, "Okay, disarm the bombs. You or you die too." And
I guess you could say he really stuck it to him.
Yeah, and Reverse Flash goes, "Okay, fine, because I don't care if I die as long as I sully your name in history. That's it. Let's do this." But at the last second, what's great is that the Justice League shows up with Batman dropping through the ceiling, voiced by Kevin Conroy. And
I guess you could say Eobard's plan was to reverse what everyone thought of the Flash.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of funny. The Flash, Reverse Flash is basically saying my life's not worth anything, and then Batman goes, "I agree, your life isn't worth much." So I'm like, yes. And it's Conroy, baby.
I have $3. That's all I got for you, Eobard.
So all you have to know is that the Justice League takes care of the bombs and the day is saved. But then Eobard drops a reference to Barry's mom, and then he just leaves him, and then Barry's shaken by it. Then when the end credits stop, Barry's in the Flashpoint universe. He wakes up and it says like the Amazonians and the Atlanteans are at war. So that's the first thing that shows that, oh my gosh, things are different. The world's gonna freaking end. So that's the first thing. And then Barry goes. So
you're saying that Flash has reached a certain point?
Yeah, exactly. So
this is a stream, folks. It's just him explaining it and me making exceedingly worse puns.
Yeah, I guess. So anyway, trust me, that's not going to stop. That's not going to stop. Nick, even if I tell him they're really bad puns, but eventually, what goes down is he leaves. There's like something up with the rogues, and he looks at it, and apparently Captain Cold is the hero of Central City. So Barry's like,
"That's a killing prospect."
Yeah. So then, do you just pop into your mind?
No, I'm just that good. I'm like, all right, everybody, chill.
Okay, you might don't Roger say that name. But anyway, actually, no. Yeah, you deserve that for referencing that travesty. But I had to reorganize a lot of my clips because I use so many of them, like regularly. So
why did you say that name?
No.
Didn't you know tonight's forecast? A freeze is coming.
Okay, so eventually, yeah. So he leaves to run, but Barry's like, "Why aren't I running fast?"
Did someone tell Barry, "Run, Barry, run"?
Yeah, I know, but
it's inspirational speech.
Yeah, I know it's from the movie, but it's from the show. But what happens is he runs, but he doesn't have the power, so he's like, "The hell!" And then his mom walks up because remember, Barry's mom was killed.
Does so Barry's mom have it going on?
Okay. So then Barry's like, okay, I have to go find Bruce. He'll know what's going on. He goes
I will find him.
I will find him. I need that as a clip for like Snyder.
You do. You really do.
Hey, Hal Jordan. Apparently I have all the Justice League members who watch my stream. So, okay. And yes, the Flashpoint Paradox.
Are you saying that they've assembled?
Okay. Yes, the Flashpoint Paradox is one of the better DCAMU movies, along with Justice League War was incredible because it's basically an adaptation of Justice League Origin. But so moving on, he arrives at Wayne Manor, but he's like, first off, the Batcave is like not advanced at all. Practically, it's like it's a crap cave essentially. Then he sees like a gun in a case, as usual, because Bruce had a memorial that was like the gun that killed his parents.
Okay.
But then he gets attacked by a Batman in a different and Daryl Taylor's going on for this. He gets attacked by Batman. And he's like, "Wait, Batman, this is not. I'm Barry. And then he's like, and then hey ho Joe, what's up?" And Barry's like, dude, it's me, Bruce, it's me. And then essentially Thomas Wayne goes,
"Why did you say that name?"
It's almost exactly that. I was like, okay, I gotta do that. So
and then we had a bat attack.
Yeah, and then he finds out. Wait, so what happened was okay.
He messed with the timeline.
When he went back in time. I'm going to give you guys basically what Barry did. He went back in time and changed his mother's death. In other words, he made it so his mom didn't die. But what that ended up doing is that ripples went out throughout the timeline and affected small like parts of the DC universe. Like in this case, in Crime Alley, Bruce Wayne was the one who was shot and killed. And Thomas Wayne became Batman, and Martha Wayne had a nervous breakdown and became the Joker. And by the way, they have a character.
Well, that escalated quickly.
They have a character named Yo-Yo in the movie and comic who's basically Harley Quinn. And what had happened with the Atlanteans and the Amazons is that at one point the Atlanteans showed up on Themyscira, and as a peace treaty Diana and Arthur negotiate a peace treaty. They end up sleeping together. Mera attacked Wonder Woman, and then Wonder Woman cut her head off.
So I guess you could say the pact was sealed not only in ink but also flesh.
You know, it's kind of funny when I had Nerdette's newsstand on the channel. She was like, "How great would it be if they actually did Flashpoint and had Gal Gadot cut off Amber Heard's head?"
How did you get into my dreams? Like seriously, I dreamed that.
No, but even she said, "Watch the theater explode with righteous like happiness at that moment." So at that point, and
then Aquaman walks out. It's like, oh, thank you. She left a turd on my bed.
So then, apparently, to mess with Barry further, Eobard put his own yellow costume in Barry's ring. Because for those that don't know, Barry somehow manages to keep his costume in his ring. Because comic books. And so Barry, by vibrating his molecules, is able to turn it into the Flash costume.
No wonder women love Flash so much.
And actually, what's interesting, so the way that Flash gets his powers back is he actually has to recreate the circumstances that gave his power. So he has Thomas Wayne strap him to a chair and put a big lightning rod on top so that he could be hit with lightning and doused with chemicals. The first time it lights him on fire, so he burns, and then the second time it works. Fun fact, though, in the Tales of the Dark Multiverse storyline for this, what actually happened is that Barry died from that. So they kind of did something kind of cool with that when they did like if this storyline went bad, what happened?
Oops.
Yeah, so at the same time, it cuts to like Themyscira, and you see like Steve Trevor's being chased by Amazons, and then he gets essentially like captured by the Amazons, and Wonder Woman strangles him with the lasso of truth. So good. I'm like, yes, I hate Steve Trevor. He sucks. And apparently he was in a relationship with Lois Lane. Now you may be wondering, where's Superman? Well, so essentially to get to, so Barry's like, hey, Thomas, we have to get Superman. He'll be able to help us out. So Thomas goes, okay, there's no Superman here. And he goes, okay, so there was a ship that crash landed in Kansas. Apparently what happened in Flashpoint is that the ship came in, but it hit Metropolis like a meteor and like killed thousands of people, not knowing what would happen. So the government captured Superman and put him in basically an isolation chamber. So in order to get to him, Batman and Flash go to Cyborg, who is America's premier superhero in this timeline.
Oh, okay. I can appreciate that.
Played by Michael B. Jordan in the movie. So I'm like, yes, I love it.
Oh.
He did a fantastic job as animated Cyborg, like really well. So
good luck getting him back for that role now.
Well, yeah, but eventually they get in and they find Superman, but since he didn't have the sun, he's very gaunt and like very thin. He's in like a gray like Kryptonian suit. And apparently in the comic they show Krypto was in the ship with him, but he burned up on impact.
Krypto, no, the best dog ever.
So they eventually start escaping, and then Superman goes nuts because he's like provoked, and he kills a bunch of army guys with his heat vision. Then he just flies away. So then Batman's like, well, that was a waste. So they decide, okay, because the plan is I have to take out Eobard, because if I take him out, because what happens is Barry at first tries to run back and change everything back to normal, but because Eobard's active and draining the Speed Force, is not enough for Barry to gain the speed necessary to break the speed barrier and stuff. So at that point, so the plan is we're gonna go to London, because that's where Eobard was located. We're gonna stop the war between the Amazons and the Atlanteans, and then we're just going to essentially to take out Eobard, and you're gonna undo this. So they fly in the bat plane, which is basically just like a private jet, because Thomas Wayne actually owns a casino, and he's basically a crime boss, essentially. So they get there, but they also have like the Shazam kids, but they actually, when they say Shazam, they merge into one being named Captain Thunder. So it's like, that's an interesting way of doing it. So they arrive just as the final battle between the Amazons and the Atlanteans start up. By the way, the U.S. government tried to stop the war by sending Hal Jordan on a suicide run, and it didn't work.
What is this? Some sort of Suicide Squad?
Yeah, I knew you were going to do that. So eventually, they land in London, well, crash land, and they team up with Drifter from Wildcats. Yeah, he's in this. And actually, what's interesting, this is the event that brought the Wildcats into the DC universe.
I'm sure Jim Lee was happy.
I'm sure that was part of the deal of him. I'm sure that was part of the deal of him becoming head of DC. So
yeah.
Eventually, everyone's getting their ass kicked. Wonder Woman actually used the lasso of truth to get Captain Thunder to revert back to the kids, and then she kills all the children. Yeah, Wonder Woman is cold in this movie.
Oh damn! I was gonna make some stupid then she takes him out the ice cream joke, but wow.
And Aquaman kills Cyborg, but not before his arm is heat visioned off by Superman, who showed up to save his friend. And Barry's getting his ass kicked by Earbarb before Batman shoots him in the face, shoots him in the head. But in the comic, he stabs him to the chest with a sword. In this one, he just shoots him through the skull, and then takes him out. And then he essentially says, "Run, Barry, run," because Aquaman's endgame is he captured Captain Atom and set him to self-destruct. So Atom's going to blow up with the force of a nuclear bomb and take out the Flashpoint universe, essentially. Barry runs back and stops himself from saving his mom. Now, the movie doesn't exactly have a lot of identifiers that were now in the DCAMU, except for the post-credit scene, because the post-credit scene is just a parademon flying through a boom tube. But it does have one of the most iconic scenes of Barry giving us. Okay, I think that Nick left, but anyway, so Barry shows up in the Batcave, and Bruce is so everything's back to air quotes normal, and Barry essentially tells Batman the whole story, which I'm sure that it wouldn't exactly be hard to believe for Batman to get the full story and say, "Oh yeah, so you went back in time and had this whole adventure. Why am I not surprised?" And then Batman even goes, "So let me get this straight. You went through this entire adventure." Hang on, I have to ask Nick why he left. But anyway, Barry gives Bruce the letter that Thomas had given him before Barry went back in time, and it's a letter of essentially the last note that Bruce that Thomas in Catharsis ever wrote to Bruce. So Bruce is finally able to essentially finally able to have a piece of his father left. So Daryl Taylor says, "My favorite scene in the movie is where Aquaman kills Lex Luthor and Deathstroke on Slade Ship." Oh yeah. So what happens in this one, I'm not sure if this was in the comic, but where we first see Aquaman is Lex Luthor, under the command of the U.S. government, is sent with Deathstroke and a few of the other mercenary characters in DC to England to take out Wonder Woman or to stop the war, essentially, because this war is gonna wreck everyone. So eventually, they're essentially attacked by Aquaman, and Aquaman just lays waste. He kills Deathstroke, kills Lex Luthor, wipes everyone out. That's the first indicator that this is a very hardcore timeline, really, really, really hardcore. So, and that's essentially Flashpoint. And now what that led to, and the reason why we started with Flashpoint, that led to the new 52 universe. It was the characters are younger. Some of them have their status quo change. It changes for a younger audience. You don't have to have read DC comics in the past to understand what's going on with the storylines. Now, this movie led to what's called the DCAMU or the DC animated movie universe, where you have like Justice League War, Justice League Throne of Atlantis, Batman, actually the Son of Batman movie. And essentially what this was they formed their own little MCU, if you will, out of the DC, out of essentially out of these movies, and that all these movies shared a shared continuity. And a lot of them were based off new 52 storylines. Granted, they were kind of changed a little bit. Like in War, it was Shazam on the Justice League and not Aquaman. That's because they had to do they wanted to save Aquaman's introduction for the Throne of Atlantis movie, which I understand. I got that. And Nick, hey, what's up? Well, what happened?
My internet decided to take a crap. So yeah, I had to let it do its business, and then refreshed it, and now I'm back to torment you more with really bad puns.
Yeah. So essentially, I just told everyone about this scene where Barry gives Bruce the note from his father, and Bruce starts crying and goes, "You're one hell of a messenger, Barry." Because when you think about it,
that sounds very touching.
Think about how important that is. It's Bruce finally having like a piece of his father.
Yeah, you know he's going to hold on to that note.
He does. He has it like immortalized in a in a little I guess like glass case in the Batcave. So let's talk a little bit about what this led to, because like I touched on before you came back, this led to essentially what was called the New 52, which was a rebooting of DC continuity. Essentially treat it like DC has never published comics before. We're just starting right there.
No.
And the first book was Justice League by Jeff Johns and Jim Lee. One of the best looking introductory books of all time. And the problem with the New 52, now, actually, wait, the New 52 idea, hey, what's up, Tevia, was amazing. The idea of it, the execution,
not so much.
Yes, because what they did is they didn't have a plan. No one was talking. Like, case in point, and I used this on Comics League Dark last night. So you, on the Superman side, you had Grant Morrison writing Action Comics, and yes, it was good. You had Grant Morrison writing Action, then you had George Perez writing Superman. Grant Morrison's book takes place 5 years prior to the Superman book. So you'd imagine they have to be able to communicate, right? Well, it didn't work. It didn't work because Grant did not communicate. So, and that happened with a lot of people, is that it was hard to get one cohesive narrative in because no one communicated.
Yeah, I was actually actively buying comics around this time, because I remember when they were doing the New 52, they'd actually ended the Nightwing run probably a few years ago. So Nightwing actually hadn't had a book for at least 2 or 3 years. And when I heard they were doing, Flashpoint, and that part of New 52 was they're going to be doing a new Nightwing book, I instantly called my local comic shop and put Nightwing on hold. And the other book that I got on hold was Red Hood and the Outlaws. And I ended up following both of them for the first 12 or so issues before kind of petering out. Nightwing was just kind of the same old stories over and over again, the same old stuff. Red Hood was actually pretty interesting. The problem I had with the New 52 is, like you said, they promised a clean slate. But what in execution it really was we're going to take what we want, we're going to change what we want, and it's just all willy-nilly. It's up to the creators. So it's like, so you get some elements where it's like, oh, they completely, like Starfire is a completely different character now, kind of thing. Or
yeah, essentially they changed a lot of stuff, like with, for instance, Lobo in the New 52.
The less we talk about that.
Yeah, the Teen Titans, essentially.
That gets the large part where they literally compress a timeline where they had like 30 years, 40 years of stuff happen in like 5 years.
Yeah, so that was a problem. where with Batman and Green Lantern, the thing about it is that they wanted us to, like, for instance, believe that Blackest Night happened somehow in those 5 years, despite the fact that the Justice League hadn't met or formed yet, and half the characters that were really essential to Blackest Night had not existed yet or were not at that point in their careers.
Yeah, like I remember, or some stuff never existed. For example, one of the plot points of Blackest Night was a Green Lantern ring a Black Lantern ring had found its way onto the Golden Age Superman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the original Superman, and they actually resurrected it as a zombie. That wouldn't have happened.
Cool.
Yeah, that was a nice callback.
And so the thing about it is that a lot of characters it did like really improved, like Red Hood, because it was at this point that the retcon punch thing for Red Hood coming back was not the origin anymore. It was just, okay, so they got his body, they put him in the Lazarus pit, you're done. And then they separated him from Batman.
That makes so much more sense.
Yes.
Because honestly, I could see Ra's al Ghul, especially with, Ra's al Ghul hired the Joker, and Ra's al Ghul felt guilty for how it spiraled out of control, and he revived Jason Todd. I could actually see Ra's al Ghul, that series of events happening.
Yeah, exactly. And what they also did, not only did they bring him back as Red Hood and change his origin, they also put him away from Batman so he has time to grow as a character and have his own adventures. That was fantastic.
Yeah, they kind of shoved him into like this not League of Assassins thing called the All Cast. I remember that's where he got his training afterwards. Like, it's kind of weird. It's like you have him revived by Ra's al Ghul. Why not just have him be part of the League of Assassins? Because that would make so much more sense, and that would actually put some good characterization between like him and Damian.
Yeah,
imagine Damian comes back and is like, oh, we already know each other.
Yeah. Now the new 52 did add a lot of fantastic stuff. Case in point, yep, she was creating the new 52 Justice League book, baby.
Yes, we're all aware of your waifu. We understand that.
Yes, we got it. Starfire. Not Starfire. Jessica Cruz Supremacy. I want her to have a movie. Yeah, the new.
One of these days, I'm going to make a Jessica Cruz body pillow and give it to you.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm not into that body pillow stuff. But yeah,
I'm just gonna give it to you as like a gag gift. You open it up, it's like a Jessica Cruz.
I'll open it up and shred it with a knife. So
you would murder your waifu like that? How dare you?
All right. So what? And here's the thing: you also had Grail, the daughter of Darkseid. Like, great stuff happened with the new 52. Like, amazing stuff. It wasn't all bad stuff. Plus, that's what the Snyderverse is primarily based on.
Speaking of Snyder, we got probably the best Batman run we've had in decades.
Oh, hell yes. Okay, so imagine this. So
a different Snyder, but yes.
They threw him away for garbage and were trying to place. Yeah, the Superman himself, I think, was pretty good. The family was a little iffy. I'll give you that. But so Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo do Batman. It's their first main Batman book, Court of Owls. Their starting book becomes one of the most well-known and well-beloved Batman stories of all time, and that says a lot.
They didn't have to go this hard, but God bless them for doing so.
Yeah, arguably, Scott Snyder had one of the best Batman runs of all time.
I'd say the Court of Owls is probably the biggest contribution to Batman continuity since Harley Quinn.
Yeah, because guess we did. So we established that there was this evil-like organization that runs Gotham, and here's the key part: Batman didn't know about it.
It's the biggest shakeup to Batman continuity since Harley Quinn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think, too, it'll be based off the Rebirth era, even in terms of the air quotes reboot, and that they're just going to keep what works, keep what doesn't work. That's it. That's what they're going to do. James Gunn himself said that. And then Cyberbane says, I hope that they do that in the Oh, yeah. If they do a Batman sequel, and I say if because it's not coming out until 2025 at the earliest, that's a red flag. But they're very heavily implying Court of Owls. Now,
You know what's really sad?
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually would actually pay lots of money to see Court of Owls done in the Patterson universe.
Oh yeah, because if there's any group of villains that would work in the Pattinson universe, it is that.
Like, I'm sorry, but I swear they set up Court of Owls in Patterson. Like, if they didn't outright say it was Court of Owls, but like the whole like people running behind the scenes, like they really set up that idea of that, and I feel like that universe is prime for Court of Owls, and I like sorry. I just like owl superheroes.
Yeah, that works.
There's your Screecher plug for the stream.
Yes, of course. I know. And we had a great. And first, I'm just checking one thing real quick. Okay, but yeah, essentially, yeah. Let me put it this way. I hope they do at least one more movie with the Batman. But oh yeah, so they had this really bad event called Future's End. Now, let me be clear.
Didn't they like get rid of Terry McGinnis and replace Batman Beyond with like Tim Drake?
All right. So what happened is that the overall story of this is amazing. Okay, the overall plot. I want to be clear on this. The overall plot for Future's End is amazing. Okay, so what happened was it's one of those stories where it goes where it starts off good and then it just gets bogged down by tie-ins, and it just got really too complicated. And
okay,
then
details, please. Details.
And then wait.
Details.
What?
Details.
Then they killed Terry McGinnis and replaced him with Tim Drake. Then the fans were so pissed off that they brought him back from the dead.
Why would you do that? Like, why, like, Tim Drake, why would you make Tim Drake, and is this Batman Beyond, is Tim Drake still Batman Beyond in the future timeline or the current timeline?
Well, okay, they even changed that because here's what the future timeline is, okay? So they basically combined Batman Beyond and Countdown to Infinite Crisis, and that Batman and Mr. Terrific make Brother Eye, except it goes full Terminator like it does in the story, but it changes all the superheroes into cyborgs. That sounds cool. So normal Batman sends Terry McGinnis back in time to stop, to essentially stop them from having created Brother Eye, and it just
okay. So basically, they're ripping off Terminator wholesale.
Essentially, it was Terminator, and it just got too bogged down because the overall idea sounded cool. It could have worked. That's the thing.
I'm sorry, but I am disappointed.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, now let me be clear. A New 52 also had dope events like Darkseid War and Forever Evil, where the crime syndicate shows up. So let me put it this way: it wasn't all bad. Let me put it this way: the potential was there for them to really have.
And the Court of Owls event was really good.
Dude, the Court of Owls event is my favorite Batman book of all time. I'm gonna say that right
honestly,
there.
I love what the Court of Owls did for Nightwing, like where they basically created a whole new line like Grey Suns, you know, and like how Dick Grayson was supposed to be. Like that explains why Dick Grayson is such a good like acrobat and fighter. Is the fact that he was supposed to be a Talon, you know, like, and these Talons are literally on Batman's level. That explains so much of why Dick Grayson is such a good fighter.
And okay, so here's another thing. Speaking of Dick Grayson, he had another cool reinvention. So in Forever Evil, the crime syndicate revealed his secret identity. So Nightwing faked his death and became a spy for Checkmate, and essentially turned it into a spy story.
Oh, please no, please! I'm leaving now.
It got undone, by the way.
Please tell me you're being sarcastic when, you know, the whole Agent Grayson BS.
I felt it was not bad. It was kind of cool. It was a new thing to do, but I can understand.
Yeah, but not to Dick Grayson.
All right.
Of all the people to make a spy, Dick Grayson, like why? It's like making James Bond a cheerleader.
Now, you also had in the New 52, the Earth 2 series, which was fantastic, where you had like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman are killed in the first issue. Like first issue, they are dead. And the essentially the Justice Society has to take over and become the heroes that we all need, essentially. So we also got Robin War, which sucked during the New 52 and spoiler event that spawned the horrible We Are Robin book. Oh, so actually, one of the Batman New 52 storylines I was reading, Nick, is actually they do it's actually this storyline called Batman Eternal, and it's the New 52 origin of Stephanie Brown. And so what happens with Stephanie is that she just walks in accidentally on her father Cluemaster having a meeting with supervillains, and then he has to kill her. And then obviously she's recruited by Batman and all that stuff.
Okay.
And the other problem with the New 52,
spoiler alert,
is what they did to Barbara, because previous to this, she was Oracle. Now, here's the funny part. So the Killing Joke still happened in the New 52, but they did
the BS chip in the spine, which is so stupid.
Yeah, but it was off panel too. Off panel was the chip in the spine.
Oh my god, it's so stupid. Like, well, first off, Oracle is an amazing character.
I wish they kept her, because there's plenty of other characters that can be Batgirl, but how often do you have like crippled people having their own superhero who arguably is the most powerful hero on Earth because she has access to all the technology to the point where she is trusted by Batman, the Justice League, and the Suicide Squad to be their information broker. She's
the ultimate person in the share.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't they went to New Earth essentially, which was they went to their Earth too, if you will. And yes, it led and we know it led to to John Kent. We got it.
And it's like, I'm trying to think here, like, and it's not like there isn't good Batgirls. Like in the 2000s, Cassie Kane, like, she was a great Batgirl. Like, I think the reason why Cassie Kane worked is because she was the same age as Tim, so you kind of got like, so like it worked really because like Tim Drake was the Robin of like the 90s and 2000s, and having a Batgirl around his age works so well for the stories. And honestly, I just think Cassie Kane was like such a great like Batgirl, like kind of like a little darker ninja Batgirl. She was kind of like, honestly, she was kind of a proto Damian Wayne if you think about it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic redemption story in that she became her own superhero. Because when you look at like, she should be a super villain considering her lineage, but she's like, no, I don't want to. I don't want my family's past to define who I become. And I'm like, that is so good.
You know, the missed opportunity. I would have loved it if they would have had a new Cassie Kane around Damian's age, and like imagine that if you had that version of Cassie Kane like spar against Damian and kick his butt, I would actually believe it because like he's that skilled. Like imagine like a kind of like a foil for Damian Wayne. It's like oh, I want to crap talk you, but he kicks my butt, and you know, like. I'm sorry, I gotta stop writing this fan fiction.
And that really pissed me off, by the way, when I was watching Birds of Prey, because I was excited because they bring in Cassandra Cain, and then I see what they did with Cassandra Cain. And I'm
it's like, best of memory. No. I mean, look at what they did to Black Mask, which he was such a good villain. And his blackness played by Obi-Wan Kenobi just makes it even worse.
Yeah. All right, but so eventually, and see what they also did with Wonder Woman is they put her more in the Greek gods thing, and that they made her a daughter of Zeus. Which, if you're familiar with Greek myths, Zeus has many children. He sleeps with I wouldn't be surprised if he slept with every woman on Earth. That's just what Zeus is.
It's literally his thing, though. Some darker interpretation playing him as an R-wordist.
Yeah, I mean,
do you realize some interpretations of Hercules is that Hercules is the child of Zeus R-ing his mother,
and he raped the Amazons? Yeah, I do realize that.
I was censoring myself, but yeah,
it's fine. But what they did to the Amazons was stupid as hell. Do you know what they did?
What?
All right, they changed the Amazons' origin. So what they did for the Amazons. All right, this is the dumbest thing in the world. So they made it so the way the Amazons repopulate is they go out onto boats. They find men on passing ships, have sex with them, kill them, and then bring their kids and bring all them female children back to Themyscira.
That just makes all Amazons psychopaths.
Exactly. I'm just like, the hell? Who thought this was a good idea? But the Wonder Woman part where they made her a daughter of Zeus and she has to deal with the psychotic family, that part's cool.
I mean, okay. I need to do this. Here's how I would handle that. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So the way that Amazons repopulate is that when every Amazon comes of age, they go into man's world, kind of like a Rumspringa, kind of like the whole like with the Amish, Rumspringa, they get to experience the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they get pregnant, and if they have a daughter, they're allowed to bring both themselves and their daughter back.
Mm-hmm.
But if they have a son, their choice is to either come back and leave the son, or they can stay behind and raise a child.
All right. And
I mean, that at least is a little bit more humane.
By the way, it's interesting. You did have an Amazon who chose to essentially leave Themyscira and stay there, and that was Hestia, and she becomes like an aide to Wonder Woman. Here's the thing, Tevia. DC has never been able to decide what to do about Donna Troy, and actually, what they did, I actually like because so they made Donna Troy like a weapon made by the evil Amazons to take out Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman leads her to redemption.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, that actually is really cool. And I get that a lot of people didn't like that, but I was like, come on, just try it.
I think there should be room for a Wonder Woman character to where, like, let's say it's like a daughter, or it's like, like let's say an Amazon had come to Earth and like had a child, but then like they went back, but they abandoned the daughter, and Wonder Woman finds a child.
Yeah, and what's interesting, and again, also in the new 52 around Justice League 12, they did this. Which was the best decision they could have made.
No,
that actually got me really interested in DC, because for the longest time I've been a like this. I was just a superhero fan by like movies and like periphery. I wasn't a comic reader. Then this, and it just got me interested. Let me put it that way, because I'm like, oh, okay, I'll check that out. Hey, what's up,
the only thing better they could have done is have Wonder Woman kiss Batman.
So
worth it.
Yeah, in your dreams, Superman, Wonder Woman's go. That's just let me put this way, Tevia. You're the one person that should not be, because I know exactly why you're against Superman and Wonder Woman as a couple. And by the way, it could still lead to Jonathan Kent being born. So, and it often does, i.e., Dark Knight Returns, the Master Race. So Lois Lane is actually non-essential to that character existing. I'm just going to tell you that we're right there. But what's interesting...
I'm just thinking of like a half Kryptonian, half Amazon kid. Wow.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that what they... okay, this was a heavy rumor. Eventually, the plan was that Wonder Woman and Superman would get married, and then what would happen is Donna Troy would be the daughter of Superman and Wonder Woman, at least to give her a more definitive origin, and just because Donna Troy's origin has changed so many times.
Yeah. What is Cassie's accepted origin?
I think that she's a daughter of Zeus. I believe that's the way it works, and like her mom worked at like a museum or something like that.
Okay. Zeus's tastes have gone down dramatically since the Greek period. I'm just gonna say it.
Well, remember, he slept with any female. That's just the way it works.
That she must have had that like hot nerdy look down like She must have had that like hot secretary nerdy look down to a T. I just gotta say it.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, because guess what? That wasn't the same version of John Kent. And by the way, that's the version that would realistically exist in that universe. So just telling you there. But so that's my point. The New 52 had like, I would argue, more good stuff and bad stuff. Had they actually committed and rebooted Green Lantern and Batman and actually just rebooted everything, I think it would have been a little better. Oh, actually, she said Kathy Sandsmarter was technically the daughter of another guy in the New 52 who was then retconned out of existence thanks to Bendis, surprisingly enough. Oh, yeah, they made it so like her armor was like a parasite or something. It was really weird. Again, it was in the New 52 Teen Titans book, which was atrocious.
The thing that one of the things that really pissed me off about New 52 is they made it so that Tim was never actually a Robin.
Yeah, and then they changed it. What they did is that they had it so Batman goes, "I always considered you a Robin," and I'm like, that's not the same thing.
That is the equivalent to pity sex. That is literally the equivalent.
Exactly. It's because, you know why they did that? Because they couldn't explain why Batman had 4 Robins in 5 years.
He was really bad at managing his Robins. That's how.
Yeah, but I'm just like, see, that's why the whole 5-year thing didn't work. Because you had all these things that didn't line up, and then you fixed it in the stupidest way possible, in the dumbest way possible.
I mean, I'm trying to think it up myself. Well, if you're going to go on the 5-year timeline, year two and 3 is Dick Grayson, and then he leaves, becomes Nightwing, and then Jason's there for let's say 6 months. You know, he does a really bad job, and then so we're on year, you know, and then basically for the year and a half you have Tim. And then basically, as soon as Damien comes along, he gets shoved off. There, problem solved. Where's my paycheck, DC?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. And then so they later retcon Tim Drake's origin back to normal thanks to James Tynion Detective Comics and having Mr. Oz telling Drake his history and rebirth, and it was his original Chuck Dixon. So. That's one thing we can thank Mr. Oz, later revealed idiotically by Bendis to be Jor-El.
So basically, they changed it back, like they brought back the original timeline, and so that
Nick, what they did in Rebirth. Okay, so they brought Bendis in. Well, actually, here's the stupid part, and you're in the minority there, Braga. So here's the stupid part. You ready? So what they did is, all right. So they had this character named Mr. Oz, and they were hyping up, who could Mr. Oz be? Who is this dude? And because what would happen is that at moments he would teleport in and like steal characters. Like he captured Doomsday and Tim Drake. And then we're like, who's Mr. Oz? Who's Mr. Oz? Okay, so Bendis comes in on Superman. And it turns out, all right, that's Jor-El. What happened was, so they established that during Flashpoint, when it was reverting back, Dr. Manhattan changed everything. And all right, this is really dumb. So one of the things that was changed, all right, was Dr. Manhattan, when Krypton exploded, plucked Jor-El out of the timeline and put him in like essentially a dimension outside of time. And
that sounds similar to what they did with Convergence, where like they basically just put all these characters into these little pocket universes, stasis cubes or whatever.
Essentially, and what was so stupid is, first off, it's Jor-El. And then what was kind of funny is that when Bendis was dealt with Jor-El, Dr. Manhattan just the Time Lords or whoever was responsible for this just teleported Jor-El back to Krypton the moment it exploded.
That is a dick move worthy of the dick-shaped Phantom ship from Man of Steel.
Yeah, exactly. So and then what Tevye is referring to. So what they did is, so at this point in Rebirth, you had the pre-New 52 Superman was Superman at this point because the old one exploded. They killed him, which I think was the mistake. They shouldn't have killed him because he still had fans. They should have at least just let the old one be a mentor, and then just essentially like don't make it. I think it's just going to be me and Nick Draga. And so what they did was, all right, they had this storyline where they basically called Superman Reborn. It's actually a pretty decent storyline where what actually happened to New 52 Superman and New 52 Lois Lane, because she was dying because she became Superwoman briefly, but the powers destroyed her, is they were both sent to a paradise dimension, and eventually they were merged with their pre-New 52 selves. Because what happened was Dr. Manhattan separated the New 52 Superman from the New 52 Superman and made two separate beings, which was really stupid. This was the most comic booky thing ever.
Oh, now it's gone cross-eyed.
So at this point, when they brought in...
Jared, I have a headache.
Yeah, when they brought in the post-crisis Superman, he had a son, John Kent, which was a carryover from Convergence. I think it's Convergence, and Tevye, you can correct me on this. And this is the John Kent that Tevye references. This is the Super Son's John Kent. And you saw
lost track of what you said 5 minutes ago, so...
Yeah, so essentially you had John Kent Superboy, and you had the Super Sons.
I have no idea what you just said, but okay.
Okay, so
please don't start over, please.
All right, you have John Kent Superboy,
please
Superman's son.
Please
no. This is where I was, Nick. So Bendis comes in and cancels all the books. Let me put it this way: the Super Sons book was not the bestseller at DC. It was it sold fairly well, and it was highly rated, but it wasn't it's no Watchmen, in other words.
So let me get this straight: he literally Bendis to his will.
Yeah, exactly. So what Bendis
that was a good one.
Bendis did. So at this point in his Man of Steel series, at the end of the series, and this was the I think 4-issue mini series that led to essentially Bendis's crappy Superman run. What it led to was essentially. All right.
He bent us over backwards to get this.
Yeah. So Jor-El reveals himself to his son and goes, "I want to take your son on an adventure to find himself." So Superman. Wait a second.
He's gonna take his son out for smokes.
It gets worse. So, and this is when Jor-El is known to be a villain in this current iteration. Superman lets his son and Lois Lane go with Jor-El on a multiversal adventure. And then we lose John Kent for 12 years. He shows back up. And it turns out Lois Lane was back for months and didn't tell Clark because she wanted to be by herself. It gets worse, Nick. Bendis implied that Lois was having an affair with Lex Luthor. That silence has everything I need to know.
Did Bendis learn nothing from Sin's past?
No, apparently not. Oh, yes. She abandoned her own son.
That is literally the plot. That is a Sin's past twist. That is literally the Sin's past twist.
Yeah. It was the dumbest thing in the world. And then the age of John Kent, he shows back up, which I'm like, okay. I think at that point, had they, and Tevye, I agree with you on this one. Had they redone the Super Sons book with Damian and the older John Kent, I don't think people would have been as pissed off, but that was just Bendis. Because he aged him up because he wanted John Kent on the Legion of Superheroes. Because here's what you understand. Bendis was not only in charge of Superman, he was in charge of Legion of Superheroes and Young Justice. He had so much power. This is where you get Ginny Hex and this is when Naomi was created. And the thing is, what Bendis will do...
if you want a super person on Legion, why don't you put either Connor or Supergirl on there?
Because it's Bendis, Nick. That's why. Because it's Bendis. And the
Like,
thing
you know
about
how Supergirl has just as much history at the Legion as Superboy does.
And guess what? Bendis didn't know that because he made it so like the Wonder Twins on the Legion were from a planet that had orgies. And I'm like, well, that's
where's my coat hanger? I need to do a back alley lobotomy.
Yeah, essentially. And it got so bad. And the Superman sales.
How about we skip all that and get to the part where it actually becomes good again, please?
That's when Bendis leaves the book. Because Superman sales were in the crapper. They were bad. Like, really, really bad. And nothing Bendis did.
Were they Tom Taylor bad?
Tom Taylor, Son of Kal-El, sold more than Bendis Superman.
Holy fucking shitballs!
Yeah, and I'm gonna allow that curse because it's relevant in this case. Yes, yeah, it was that bad, dude. That bad.
So bad that like even Tom Taylor, where like his stories are probably like as bad or objectively worse, are still selling better.
And by the way, Superman sales have never recovered. Like, never recovered from that. And
this is the moment where you put in that Tiger King clip. Like, I'm never gonna financially
recover from this. Yeah, exactly. But oh my god! And what's interesting is also part of Bendis' Superman, and Tevia knows what I'm talking about. Is all right. So Bendis was too lazy to write Superman with a secret identity, so he literally had Clark go on national TV and goes, "I'm Clark Kent." And I'm like, okay, who's going to bomb the Daily Planet or like go try and kill Lois Lane or Jimmy Olsen because they just figured out how to get a leg up on Superman? And Tevia, it's not Tom Taylor who refuses to DH John Kent. It's DC because if editorial told them to, they would. But I got news for you. They're not, because too much has happened with John. You're never going to get the current John Kent being the kid. You'll get flashbacks. That's all we're going to say on that.
I think the best we can say is for the time being, maybe in like 5 to 10 years, they'll do it when they need to do like a reboot and refresh things, you know? But like,
should they do an actual hard reboot? I think they would do it in that case.
They will eventually. I mean, you know how it is with comics. I think when it comes time to reboot Superman or reboot John Kent, they're going to put him back to 12 years old, but it's not going to happen for another 5 to 10 years. That is my opinion.
But what I love is that Bendis is gone at DC. He's no longer has any influence. By the way, Naomi did not. What was so funny is that when they did Naomi as a show, it didn't make it past one season. It's the first CW show to get canceled after one season. And the thing about Bendis, when he wants to write, because I know what he wants to do, he has black daughters and he wants to give them heroes to look up to. I got that, and I love that. The thing about it is
milestone.
Yes,
like literally,
exactly.
I need my obligatory icon exists. This is my obligatory reminder that Icon exists.
Yeah.
Like, I had to do it once per stream to remind you that Icon exists.
Mm-hmm.
Rocket. Like, seriously. Like, he wanted to, like, do a Rocket series. You know?
Yeah. Or,
by the way, Rocket is better than Shuri. I don't care. I don't care. Rocket is an objectively better character than Shuri will ever be.
Natasha Irons, Steele's daughter. You had so many other great. That's the problem with Bendis, is that I know why he does it, because he gets royalties on these characters. But what's funny is that none of his
Black Lightning have daughters.
Yeah, exactly. There was literally no reason to do this except for Bendis can profit from it. And I'm like, you could have held up some of the because Bendis' name had clout back then, and he could have held up these other fantastic black characters like the Milestone characters, which I wish DC would do more with. And he could have lent his mind to that. But instead of doing that, he chose to create his own character and mess it up. And then remember, he's the one.
Please tell me they put Bumblebee on the Teen Titans again.
I don't think so. And by the way,
God.
oh yeah, Event Leviathan, where he wiped out all the spy agencies in DC, and then and then he also in his Justice League run, which was by the way, so at the end of his Superman run, DC was going to remove him, but they wanted to give him one more run so they could say, okay, we gave him another shot, it didn't work out, so they gave him Justice League. For no reason, he puts Naomi on the Justice League.
Oh, that's just a final FU.
And the only reason why I have the first 3 issues 3 times is because of the 3 Zack Snyder's Justice League variant covers. Otherwise, I would not have gotten the book. And then he had Black Adam join the Justice League, which I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. It was... Nothing he has done at you could argue a lot of what he did at Marvel has stuck around and has been successful, like Miles Morales, except Miles had a movie to put him up.
Okay,
the
original, the early Ultimate Spider-Man is good, really freaking good.
And a lot of his Marvel events are fantastic, like Secret Invasion, Siege. A lot of his Marvel stuff is actually pretty freaking dope. But nothing he did at DC is loved at all. It was all massively tanked. JJheat, we're talking about how Bendis tanked when he came to DC.
Looks like I got here just in time.
Yeah, exactly. So we talked about Flashpoint. You briefly give us your thoughts on Flashpoint.
Arguably one of the best animated adaptations ever made, and a great movie in general.
Yes, it was. I loved it very much. So, because
Civil War II was indeed garbage.
Was garbage. So, what we're talking about, the reason why we're talking about Bendis is I was taking Nick through historically what happened with the new 52.
My brain hurt. My brain officially
Rebirth,
hurt.
And then I started talking about all the changes that Bendis made to DC. Like instead of holding up the Wildstorm characters and lending his credibility. Yeah.
Wildstorm and Mildstorm.
Hey, Lawrence, what's up, dude? Yeah, and imagine that. Yes, and then he did Civil War II, which was arguably the worst Marvel book to come out.
Yeah, I also... all right, JJheat, let me pass this take to you, and let me get your thoughts on it. Rocket is objectively a better character than Shuri.
Yes, definitely.
I agree with you
because Rocket is like that technician superhero where it's like she's smart as hell, but she's not arrogant about it, and she's actually likable.
Dude, Natasha Iron Steel is a better character than Shuri.
No. Natasha Irons is better than Riri.
Yeah.
You gotta realize, so Rocket is like the equivalent of Shuri, whereas Natasha is the equivalent of Riri.
Yeah.
I pronounced that wrong, but I'm going to stick by it.
Yeah, so actually, I want to ask you this, JJheat. Why do you think when Bendis came to DC, and remember, you had the whole Bendis is coming ads, which were very scary. Why do you think when he came to DC, it just crashed and burned?
Because are you talking in terms of Rebirth or just Bendis himself or the
in
Bendis
general?
Company? Okay. Well, you could tell it was just a bad idea in general. Bendis had clearly fallen off. It was supposed to be they already had the edge over Marvel. It's just a series of bad decisions all around.
Yeah, because you got to understand, Nick, during Rebirth, Marvel was arguably outselling DC because DC was doing the all new, all different, where they were forcing you to adopt all these new characters, and Rebirth was basically DC saying, okay, the reverse, saying we're going to respect the fans. Rebirth was the apology tour, saying we know we screwed up too much with the new.
In Rebirth, they actually did some really good stuff, like the Batman Who Laughs, who
they later overused.
White Knight, Batman, the White Knight, creating that whole stuff. Like DC actually has legitimately done some really good stuff within the last 5 to 10 years.
Oh, DC objectively has produced more quality stuff than Marvel in the past 10 years. Objectively.
I mean, which one had Ethan and Skyver working for them? And
exactly, and he did the art for a lot of the Rebirth Green Lanterns, and then what happened with him happened.
And also,
I
don't
swear,
forget
dream to
Gabe.
have him on the channel.
Don't forget Gabe Al-Taid worked for DC.
He
It
did
seems
like
like
so
all-
much stuff New 52, Rebirth. He did so much stuff for DC.
All
up
the
until
best creators work for DC. Marvel is a dumping ground for lack of talent, and I just scared away JJheat.
And I've long said this, Nick, with the thing about Marvel does not have as many like beloved and like epic storylines as DC does. Like DC has the more memorable stories.
Okay, I gotta stop you there. Marvel does 30 years ago. Like they were the house of ideas up until about 2000, 2005 is when they pretty much stopped. But like pre-2000, Marvel has so many iconic stories, okay?
I'm not
all
saying
the
they
Spider-Man,
didn't.
all the X-Men, all the Daredevil. Like Marvel has so many iconic storylines. I'm a DC
But Nick,
guy.
I'm not saying I'm not saying they didn't. I'm saying quantitatively DC has more.
I actually, if you look at like the number of iconic storylines, Marvel has almost just as many. Like
Almost just as many, but I'm saying DC
Their
still has more.
significance is varied, but Marvel does have their heavy hitters in their own right.
I'm not saying they don't, because you have like
here's
House
the
of M and all that.
But my problem is, once you get past the mid-2000s, Marvel stops really producing the iconic storylines, and while DC, even to this day, is still doing iconic storylines, like world-shaping ones, whereas Marvel really fell off. After pretty much all the Silver Age talent retired in the mid-2000s, like you could really tell the quality went off after the John Romita Juniors of the world kind of left, and once the second generation generation Marvel creators who made like the late 70s up until like the early 90s amazing for Marvel, they all kind of retired in the mid-2000s. That's when the new crop came in. That's when it's really went to shit. Whereas DC was a lot better at cultivating really good talent.
Yes,
and that's why.
Look at that, George Perez, baby.
And like in any other profession, there's bound to be a generation shift when it comes to content and creators. DC was able to handle the transition a lot better.
Agreed.
After the late 2000s. But now that with this new crop of writers like the Megan Fitzmartins of the world, it's just hacks all across the board.
Yeah, but and also that gets into my thing is that I always say that DC always gets the cream of the crop in terms because you have like Ethan Van Sciver, Jeff Johns.
I say
Jason
nowadays,
Fabok.
yes, nowadays,
yes. at least in the modern day, I would say in the 2000s era that we're in.
If this was like the 80s or the 90s. Marvel was a place to go. You gotta remember.
Yes, because remember, all the Image guys were Marvel guys.
Yeah, like Marvel was kicking ass in the 80s. And you gotta realize, like Marvel came into the scenes in like on the 60s, and they just completely cleaned house almost from the get-go. You gotta realize they came out of the gate swinging like Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, like all their iconic stuff really were created within a span of 5 years. And
the problem with Marvel now is that you have too many writers that are changing these characters into what they want them to be and not what they are. It's like,
and I'd say the biggest problem with Marvel is management. To where even when they do get a good writer, like for example the John Hickman X-Men run, when they
undermine them.
When they fall flat first into a good storyline and a good creator, when they fall like, holy crap, we got something good, they can't help themselves from undermining it.
Because if you look at the overall plot for Jonathan Hickman's X-Men, what he planned, it's incredible. Like, oh my gosh. And the island was supposed to be a temporary area, was never supposed to be what it is today, but the writers didn't want to leave,
gentlemen.
The writers did.
This is his kingdom. He can do what he wants.
I'm keeping it PG. I'm saying the island was never supposed to be this permanent place where they have orgies all the time. No, it wasn't supposed to be that. But then you have like guys like Jason Aaron who show up on Thor and change it. Wait. Okay, so Nick, I'm going to cue you up, and you know where I'm going when I talk about Jason Aaron's Thor. So they wanted to give a female character, so they changed the Thor's hammer and so no.
Whoever wields this hammer will have the power of not Thor. had the
Aaron
power
says-
of Thor.
Aaron
Have
said.
that as a button.
Aaron said Thor is a mantle, not a guy's name. His real name is Odin's son, and I'm like, no,
No, that's his
Jared-
actual name, both in mythology and in comics.
At
That's
some
his
point, Jared, at some point, we need to create a button for you. Like, I'll either record an audio for you that says the Thor stuff, where I literally say that, so you can just push the button.
Actually, you know what? That may end up being your new intro. Oh, and Jason Aaron, when he did Avengers, he turned She-Hulk away from like the hot icon into like the female Hulk, pretty much. And it's only just now that we got back to this She-Hulk. And she's amazing, by the way.
Yes, they're real, and they are fantastic.
Yeah, all right.
I was referring to the
one.
books. I was referring to the books.
Now,
That's
and
what you
here's
say.
the-
Sure you were.
yeah, sure you were. But and that's the thing, because Marvel has, again, and also here's the other issue with Marvel. I know we're going on an anti-Marvel tangent, but hey, we might as well. We're talking about Flashpoint. It's fun. We're DC guys. This is what we're gonna do. But the Flash movie could have had live action in 2018 if Zach. Yeah, we could have had the Flash movie in 2018. By the way,
That was the plan.
and Marvel do female superheroes dirty in live action. Yeah. By the way, so here's the other.
Captain Marvel, She-Hulk, Shuri.
Yeah, by the way, so what they did with Captain Marvel, Nick, is because she used to be Ms. Marvel, and she was a great character.
Yeah,
I
know about the rights issue.
No, but I'm not talking about. I'm talking about just so Captain Marvel was a previously established Marvel hero who like gave his life for everyone.
Marvel. He died.
Marvel.
Of cancer, I think it
Yeah,
was.
Marvel. He goes all the way back to the 70s.
Yeah, she was Ms. Marvel, and what's cool about her is that she was a fantastic character if they left her alone and had a good writer to get her out of B-list. But so
Yeah, like
Kelly
didn't she
Sue
have like,
DeConnick-
a really good run in the 2000s?
yeah, she did. DeConnick came in and basically said, "No, she's Captain Marvel now." And they went so far as to practically say the Marvel universe is named after her. In fact, she is known as humanity's greatest superhero.
Where's
He
my
was a
gun?
legacy character at best.
Where's my gun? Where's my gun? I have a sudden desire to chew on some lead bullets.
And it gets worse, Nick. So this was during when Marvel did the whole all new, all different Marvel. This was when the MCU first picked up. So you'd go to a comic book. Let's say you wanted to get into comics after seeing the Thor movie. You go into your local comic book store saying, "I want the newest Thor issue." Who's this girl? And you put it away, because guess what? Marvel did not work, because you also had Riri as Ironheart, but really Iron Man, because she took over the Iron Man book.
I actually remember a lot of comic book shop people talking about this. Like, how much money Marvel had to have lost, like a couple of $1 billion, not
Every
just
bit.
in current readers, but also investing in future readers.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard this thing play out so many times. Like, dear God, they had a 10-year window where they were on top, and the comics just totally.
Because can you imagine how they could have done had they actually had the comics reflect the movies and
I will play devil's advocate. All new, all different Marvel compared to the New 52 was actually planned out and somewhat committed to before crashing and burning due to low sales within the span of 2.5 years.
Okay, I'll give partial credit for that. Like, sure, they planned it out, but it was a shitty plan.
But here's the thing, though. What Marvel did, which was stupid, is they said, no, like Iron Man's no longer Iron Man. Steve is no longer Captain America. You have to accept this if you want Captain America. Where DC, guess what DC did? They said, we screwed up. Here's your stuff back.
And at least back in the 2000s, when they did the Ultimate line, at least they had the good sense to shove it off into a different universe.
Yeah, that was fine. That's what DC should have done. Honestly,
Like,
that's what I think DC should do.
I still think DC should create a dedicated Earth 2 universe and have that be kind of more for like classic heroes, classic storytelling. You know,
They
I think
kind of did in the New 52, but it was more like a modernization and it didn't receive well.
Or here's what you do. take a continuity, put all your crap writers on that continuity, and say you have to do well in here in order to graduate up into the main continuity.
Because my thing is, I see what they did with the Stargirl TV show, where it's like that universe is kind of like, it's modern, but it's got like that 50s feel to it, you know?
Mhm.
Like, I just would love that in comic form. Like, I'd eat that crap up.
And they can do that. What I like about the Dawn of DC is that they're starting everything slow. And this is the first relaunches where the first book is Superman, not Batman. Batman does not come in until I think a month or two after the launch. That shows that DC is prioritizing Superman, which they should, because he's the character that started the whole medium.
Debacle.
After the whole Son of Kal-El, and they brought back Clark Kent and basically said he's Superman. And I think what they'll do, I think what they're going to do is they're going to have John Kent adopt his own identity after the whole after his series with Tom Taylor is over, because I think DC is being told by Zaslav, you need just one Superman.
That's a good place to go.
How much do you want to bet he's going to be called Power Boy?
I could see it.
Power Boy.
No, I'm going off of Power
Fun fact, they actually did try to get a Power Man off the ground in early 2000s in a Supergirl book. Oh God.
I mean, what they could do, they could make him Ultraman.
And by the way, that'll be cool. And by the way, Lawrence, they're not going to do that because Zaslav legit has put the kibosh on selling art content to other streaming services.
I thought he allowed Kate
CW was
Crusader
never
to be
profitable.
I thought he allowed Kate Crusader to be shopped around.
It's probably going to go to Amazon Prime, but he could have changed his mind.
Let's kind of meet you in the middle and say he's allowing animation to be shopped around, but not live action.
Yeah, because animation is cheaper to do. That's totally fine there.
And animation, you can have separate universes and whatever, and it's fine. Whereas live action, people kind of think, oh, is it all connected? So I think that might be his thought process, which is fair.
Plus, it's cheaper. You don't have to worry about special effects or sets for animation.
Also, I will say this, Lawrence, I do wish Netflix would pick up Stargirl, but it's probably not going to happen, sadly.
Yeah, I think all the CW stuff is dead. It's dead. It's not coming back. But
yeah, I need to watch season 3 of Stargirl. I
need to watch season 2.
Oh, season 2 is so good, brother. They do like the Eclipso thing, and it actually gets really dark.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'll check that out. But anyway, back to what we're talking about. So I think, the thing is that Marvel, see what DC keeps doing. What I do appreciate is that DC admits when it makes a mistake. I'm taking the Dawn of DC announcement as a mistake because what they're doing is it seems like they're returning back to the classics and having like because if you notice, all the marketing has been focused on Clark, Diana, Bruce. None of their dumb diversity characters that were started in this era that arguably have not taken off.
I would say the only ones that would really took off were Naomi, because she was as forced as she was, Yara Flor's Wonder Girl, and maybe Lobo's daughter. Those are the only.
But the thing is, has Naomi really taken off? Where is she?
Again, Naomi was forced, but Lobo's daughter has some solid success where she had a buddy comic with her dad. You also had Yara Flora Wonder Girl. Like, come on, Brazilian Wonder Woman. I mean, am I the only one?
And that book is actually really dope. Joelle Jones is fantastic.
So there has, and maybe Jace Fox's Batman strictly within Future State, because Future State is usually.
You know, that's kind of an opportunity, like kind of money on the table that DC's leaving. Wonder Woman to different nations. Like, imagine a Russian Wonder Woman with
it's called Red Sun.
But she has to have red hair and talk with a Russian accent.
That'd be.
I'm sorry. Like,
I don't want a Wonder Woman Incorporated, dude.
Let's just leave my sexual fantasies at the door then.
Yes, please.
Hold on. Where's that? Who's that other? She was in the Superman animated series. What was her name?
Maxima.
Maxima. That might as well just be Maxima, what you're describing, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
I
And when
mean,
Lobos-
tall ladies that can step on you are so hot right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, Nick, you might want to mute yourself for a while. But fun fact: when Lobo's daughter came out, I thought Maximo was gonna be.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I actually
I'm
thought
gonna have
Maximo was her mom.
one more time, and I'm putting you in timeout, Nick.
You do realize that was just me, like my palm hitting my face.
No, I
right?
know, but I'm gonna put you in timeout in a second. But go on, JJheat.
Basically, I was saying how when Crush, that's her name, thank you.
Yeah.
When Crush Lobo's daughter came out, I thought Maximo was gonna be her mom. Like, think about it, Azarian and like, come on, you even had that tease in Maxima's second appearance where she pretty much fawns for Lobo. Like, come on, that was right on the money.
That would be great. By the way, you know what's kind of funny? Whenever Comic Historian says Lobo's race, he says cesarean, like a C-section. And by the way, Lawrence, Nick, Lawrence is not impressed.
And here
Roll the
I
clip.
was thinking Lobo just punched his way out of the womb. Cigar in hand.
He comes out with a cigar.
I mean, come on. If anyone who could, that's
You mentioned
Lobo.
Baby Lobo. All right, but yeah, but what I mean is that they haven't had, like, let me put it this way: the one that was arguably universally beloved at all times was Yara Flores Wonder Girl. Like, there's a
Hands
reason why
down.
I got her intro issue, because I know that's going to get more expensive someday.
I'm sorry, either Donna Troy or Cassie is Wonder Girl. That's it.
All right, but whatever. But I mean, have you read the story?
Jared's like, okay, you're more than welcome to be wrong.
More than welcome to be wrong, and most of the time you are wrong on a lot of stuff. So
Oh, hell's no.
I'm just saying. So,
Jared, I love you, but STFU.
yeah. So, what do you think? Now, let me ask you this: what do you think Marvel has to do to get back to that legendary status that they have? Because right now they're pretty much a laughing stock.
Bring back Ethan Van Sciver.
They're not going to do that, but
They're-
that would.
No, hear us out. Hear us out. If Marvel was actually willing to get off their high horse and have some competent, consistent talent like EVS, it would go a long way.
Oh, can you imagine he comes back and does a little X-Men?
Oh, he'll troll everybody.
No. It's an X-Men book, written by Chuck Dixon, drawn, like penciling by Ethan Van Sciver, colored by Gabe El Taid.
Oh, geez. And what they'll do, I could see an EVS X-Men book going on right now. So one of the points is that they're heavily
He just brutally
inclined.
murders Safe Space. Safe Space.
Well, Safe Space does not. Those New Warrior
That book
books,
never took off.
It never was released, so those characters don't exist. I love the backlash to that, by the way. But anyway, so here's the EVS book. He was
like, for God's sake.
internet gas. So
I mean, if you just watch it, it is such a freaking train wreck. Who approved that?
it's to the point where, by the way, people thought it was a troll by a hate group, because it seems like that would be the thing.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and by the way, yeah, I agree with you. But here's the EVS X-Men book. Here's where I could see that. So one of the points in the X-Men that they were implying was that Scott, Logan, and Jean were in a menage relationship. So watch, EVS writes that book, but they're not actually in a relationship. The reason why their rooms are connected is because they play board games at night. Like, he'll totally troll everyone and be like, "What do you think we were doing? Having an orgy?"
No. It's basically Scott, Jean, X-23, and also Emma Frost.
Too far, man. Too far.
No. Hear me out.
Hear him out.
And they're playing D&D, and Beast is the DM.
Yes. But yeah, that's essentially the way
They have a weekly DM game, and they think they think it's an orgy. They go in there, and it's like, oh, we're just playing in D&D, and Beast is a DM. You got and he's like wearing the glasses. He's all,
Yeah, he has all of his books. He's wearing a suit and everything. That would be so funny.
Yeah.
Marvel don't
I
need
just want-
to do anything. DC is going to burn out Marvel. Yeah, I agree with you because what DC is doing, more people are excited for DC Comics than Marvel Comics right now. And plus, the problem also with Marvel is their whole flood the shelf campaign. Because I'm convinced that if Marvel did not release like 8,000 books per month, they would not outsell DC because the quality is not there.
Since we've discussed de-aging, do you think they should de-age Laura to about like 11 or 12? And so that you can have like that father-daughter dynamic between Logan and Laura?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what they
Depends
did,
on who's
Laura?
writing it.
In Hickman's X-Men, they put her in like a safe and just forgot about her for years.
Yeah, but don't they already have Honeycomb for that?
They already have that. But my point is that they keep ruining all the cool stuff.
I'm probably gonna get flack for this, but I'm gonna say it. The real Marvel really started to spiral after the Disney acquisition. I'll say it because they had too much money to burn, and as American comics are structured, they're purely merchandise.
Yeah.
Imagine a 12-year-old Laura and a 12-year-old Rachel Summers.
But yeah, I do agree with you, JJheat, that I think it was it was really the Disney acquisition because now Marvel can afford to take these risks because they have that Disney money.
Like, okay, so I realize I'm basically going to pitch a X-Men Next Generation high school book where you have like Magic, Rachel, Laura, like all those like next
mutants, essentially.
Funny fact, Strange Academy is one of their only good books. If you actually read Strange Academy, it's actually not that bad. Better than what Teen Titans Academy was.
Well, that's a long. But my point. But yeah, I think what Marvel needs to because Marvel's never done a reboot. They just had done the sliding timeline, which was just confusing as hell.
Closest we got was Ultimate.
Yeah, kind of closest. What you got was Ultimate. Maybe Secret Wars, kind of like the newer.
I would argue Heroes Reborn was also another attempt at that, but we don't talk about that anymore.
We don't talk about Heroes Reborn.
The modern Heroes Reborn was dope, where it turns Marvel into DC. That was fun. I had the omnibus.
Okay, we need another DC versus we need another amalgam universe. Like I want more Darkfall.
Yeah. The thing is, would that happen? I mean, it most likely would. It's more likely with Joe Quesada gone because he hates DC.
Okay, so in the new amalgam universe, you'll have stuff like Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman merge, and you get Captain Wonder.
Oh, that could actually work really well. And she's engaged to Super Soldier, who is Captain America and Superman.
You basically have Carol Prince, who is a captain in the Themysciran Air Force.
Ooh. And she's in a relationship with Super Soldier.
Why did you have to drag Super Wonder into this?
Because you gave me that opportunity. Now we need more Power Rangers teaming up with DC. Yes, we do. But my problem with that book, I would have liked if maybe the Power Rangers if the Justice League got their own Megazord and maybe they morph because they did that with the Ninja Turtles.
Also, canonically, Ryu is now a Power Ranger. Ryu as a
Street Fighter.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, because in some of the crossover games, he actually got a power coin.
And they actually
also Chong-Li got a power coin too.
Yeah, didn't they do that in the trailer for? I think it was there was a trailer they did for the mobile game. It was Power Rangers versus Street Fighter, and they did that.
Also, Battle for the Grid, they did put Ryu Ranger in there, I believe.
Yeah,
isn't that a cameo? I don't think he actually contributed to the plot. I think that was just a cameo.
But
no, I think he's a playable character in Battle for the Grid.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. I have that game. He is. But I think a crossover is well needed and I think that would do really well. And honestly, I mean, let me put it this way, the potential's there. Marvel could still turn this around. So could DC. I think DC is in a better position to turn their current slump around because DC is giving us more of what people want.
one of my favorite moments from that Power Ranger crossover is when you have Kimberly actually compliment the boxing glove arrow. She's like, so it's like when you want to punch someone from really far away, and like I think it's like Ollie's like really surprised that like he gets it. Like I just love it.
Yeah, he's probably like, finally someone understands my awesomeness.
Also, the best line from the movie is from hey, can you please park that pterodactyl?
yeah, I love that.
Superman just flies up next to him. He's like, can you please park this pterodactyl?
Pull over. But yeah, so that's kind of where I think we could leave it. If you guys want,
Oh,
you guys have anything
real quick.
Yeah, what's up?
Since you know it's kind of a missed opportunity. I would really love to see a Marvel versus Star Wars crossover. Like even if it's just like a kind of like a one-off, not like I want to see Luke Skywalker interact with like Wolverine or something. Like
Or how about like the Mandalorian teaming up with Deadpool?
Imagine like the Empire is trying to invade Earth. Like like you have like this wormholes open up, and it's like the Empire. You got like some Rebel Alliance people are helping out, so you get like that's just like dark. Like imagine
depends on which version of the Empire we're talking about.
But can you imagine if what they
trilogy?
Classic
trilogy at their best.
It has to be classic trilogy. But can you imagine if they did a crossover, and the crossover is that planets in the Empire are disappearing because Galactus is eating them?
Oh, the crossover that I want to see so badly. If they ever do a Marvel versus DC crossover again, there's one thing they have to do.
What?
Give Hulk a Red Lantern ring.
Yes.
Oh
my gosh!
Like, they could literally do a mini series just off of Hulk being the villain with a Red Lantern ring.
And
like,
imagine Red Hulk.
And imagine you have Red Hulk with a Red Lantern ring, and he's rampaging across the Marvel universe, and so and they have to literally bring in other DC superheroes.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good idea. Comics Explain actually had he theorized what would happen if the Hulk got a Red Lantern ring. Can you imagine?
Where do you think I got the idea from?
Yeah, exactly. The crossover starts off, the Hulk just gets a Red Lantern ring, and he's annihilating everyone. So to do that, Reed opens up a portal to the DC universe and brings in the Justice League. That'd be fantastic.
Also, I'm trying to think. What other lantern rings for Marvel superheroes would you get? Like, let's just say the
Captain America has to have a blue lantern ring.
Yeah,
you would say Captain America's hope. I say Captain America's more willpower than hope.
And by the way, we know Tevye wanted the Super Sons crossing with Mayday Parker because Mayday is his Super Sons of Marvel.
Would Daredevil be green or yellow?
Green.
I would say
because
green is about. Yeah, because Daredevil is literally the man without fear.
Yeah, he wouldn't do that. I would have to, and then I would say Elektra would probably have like maybe rage.
Yeah.
No, actually, her I could see as a yellow lantern. As a matter of fact,
Punisher definitely a Red Lantern.
Oh yeah.
No. Punisher is yellow because Punisher uses fear.
Oh okay. Dr. Doom tries and gets all the rings. They recreate the Parallax Green Lantern cover, but it's Dr. Doom.
So Dr. Doom gets the orange ring.
Yeah, exactly. I could see that.
Greed or avarice.
Trying to think.
Which ring would Reed get?
Well, depends on which version of Reed Richards we're talking about, because he ranges from a smart aleck to a borderline asshole. So it's
okay.
Kind
who would get the violet ring? Like who would
Indigo?
get the ring of love? No, compassion.
Okay.
Star Sapphire
ring.
In
terms of Marvel,
She-Hulk.
Yeah, She-Hulk. I could see that.
Also,
or Indigo?
I say Star Sapphire. So my thinking is Spider-Gwen, or just Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane.
Well, it would have to be Spider-Gwen because you can't just have Gwen Stacy because just Gwen Stacy.
Storm, a Storm would be a Star Sapphire, I think.
Yeah, I would say so.
T'Challa is green. T'Challa is green.
Wolverine is Rage, is Red Lantern.
Hands down.
Yeah. Scott is a Red Lantern as well.
Magneto is probably a Red Lantern as well.
No, I don't know.
Well, Magneto. Well, I can see Magneto's kind of like Marvel Sinestro in a way.
So
Charles
pure.
is Indigo. Charles is Indigo.
Yeah, compassion. There you go. That works.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all. Charles's whole stick is compassion.
Yeah, Iron Man is
Doctor
orange,
Strange. Iron Man is green. Willpower.
but he's greedy and he's an asshole.
Well,
Doctor
he has
Strange is
the
green.
tendencies.
Doctor
There's a
Strange is
difference.
green. Doctor
Yeah,
Strange is
yeah.
definitely green.
Yeah, I could go with that.
Hawkeye's green. He's Will.
The will to carry on, even though he sucks.
Black Widow is yellow.
Definitely.
Would she be? I could see her as green.
But she does use fear.
Yeah,
Depends on which story.
I
Depends on
don't. I could see her more as green because of everything she's had to overcome. She needs the willpower to do so. I would see her more as a Green Lantern.
Spider-Man is a Blue Lantern.
Yes.
Oh yes, that's a hopeful character.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Spider-Man is definitely.
Even though he constantly gets screwed over by
Green
editorial.
Goblin
That's
is
a
red.
good point.
Green Goblin is a Red Lantern.
Green
Oh,
Goblin
Tevye,
is orange.
This is a closed panel tonight, Tevye. Sorry, dude.
I don't know. Green Goblin is kind of a rage guy.
Yes, I agree with you on that one. Let's see. What's another character that what would actually Galactus would get an Orange Lantern?
Silver Surfer is either indigo or blue.
I was about to say blue. Probably blue.
I say indigo because he's more compassionate.
How about Venom?
Ooh, that's a hard choice.
Red.
Ooh.
But have you guys read DC's 3 War of the Undead Gods yet?
I'm reading through it right now, issue by issue. It's really good.
Thor, would you say he's red?
No, not red, not Thor. No.
No.
Probably green.
Indigo?
I would say.
Indigo?
Thor, depending on the story, can be compassionate, but that's not his
I'd
defining
say
trait.
green.
Okay, so T'Challa, do you think he's indigo?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
How about War Machine?
Green.
Yeah, I would say
Green.
so. And the ring it just recreates the War Machine like suit. All right, well, let me ask you this: if not like blue, what would you put for Captain America? Because I could see him as green.
Indigo.
Compassion. Oh, okay, I can do that.
I'm just trying not to have too many greens.
Tevye wants DC to cross over with Cuphead.
Okay.
What about Ben Riley?
I don't know enough about him, so I'm going to
Well, he's getting
Carnage. Red.
Go ahead, Jared.
yeah. Oh, look, there's a red one.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no.
Oh,
Ben,
wait,
but
I
they're
don't
doing
want
the
to.
Ben Riley
Ben
right
Grimm.
now, Dark Web.
Ben
It
Grimm.
sickens me.
Ben Grimm.
The thing.
Indigo,
Definitely.
or green.
I could
Definitely.
see that. What about Johnny Storm?
He's not really rage. I don't know.
He's a hotshot wannabe. I mean,
Green.
that'd be pushing it.
Sue Storm is either indigo or Star Sapphire for sure.
Hands down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Captain Marvel or Carol
Red.
Danvers, because in
Red.
my universe she's Ms. Marvel.
Black. She's Black Lantern.
Oh, because
Why?
she's dead.
No, that would be Marvel. But what about Carol Danvers? And by the way, in my let me actually correct myself, Ms. Marvel, because in my universe she never became Captain Marvel.
Star Sapphire.
Yes, I'm good with that. She was always my what I thought was the closest Marvel had to Wonder Woman back before she got to become such a pretentious twit.
If this was like
Hank
90s,
Pym.
early 2000s, I'd believe
Hank Pym
it.
is Red Lantern.
Who?
King
Hank
Pym.
Oh yeah.
Red for sure.
Oh yeah.
Bullseye is yellow.
Yes, exactly. You could arguably also
Kamala
do.
Khan is a Star Sapphire. She is definitely a Star Sapphire.
Yeah,
Who's a
yeah,
better-
exactly.
Who's a better marksman, Deadshot or Bullseye?
Deadshot.
Bullseye.
We may have
Depends
to
on
have
the
a-
story.
Depends on the story. It depends on the version. But I think, let's see, what's another really good one? How about What about? Let's see. We already did Kamala. What about Riri? She's not cool enough to get a ring.
She's
She's
too
a black.
underdeveloped.
She's a Black Lantern.
Yeah, Miles.
Blue.
Yeah.
I'd say blue. But Riri is very underdeveloped. She got humbled in the Champions book during a Thanos attack. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. But Riri is just very underdeveloped.
Also, Tevye, canonically, Joker is disgusted by Red Skull. That is canonically a thing. Because Joker is disgusted by Red Skull being a Nazi. That is actually a thing that is in the comics.
Well, at least Joker has standards.
Also, canonically, Superman can lift Mjolnir. Also, Wonder Woman can as well.
Yeah, they're both equally worthy.
And by the way, that whole Wonder Woman v Storm fight was BS because Wonder Woman had the hammer, she put it down, and then Storm just shocked her a bunch of times. I'm like, Wonder Woman.
Okay, here's a good one for you. What DC characters are worthy of lifting Mjolnir? So we've already
Superman for sure. Wonder Woman for sure.
Maybe Batman.
I'd say Hal Jordan.
No.
I
mean, if Hal Jordan was using a construct, he could, because Elevator is not worthy. You know, because basically
that's what he does. That's what he does. He loads Mjolnir into a construct of a cannon and just shoots it. See, I'm wielding the hammer.
Because I think using a construct is basically like an elevator, putting in an equivalent of you doing an elevator. Yeah. It's not technically lifting it.
I think Arthur could.
Arthur Curry, yeah.
Yeah.
Dick Grayson.
Barry Allen probably.
Dick Grayson could.
Yeah. Nightwing especially.
Yeah, he could.
Tim Drake probably could.
Yeah.
Tim Drake.
Not Jason. I don't think Jason could.
No, he's got too much anger. And definitely not Damian. He's
maybe
too much
Starfire.
I think Connor could.
Connor could. John can't. I think that goes without saying, particularly the current John. I would say, could Lois Lane lift the hammer?
No,
she's too much of a twit. I hate Lois Lane as a character. I'm gonna.
Perry White might be able to.
He could. Wally West could, I think.
Prior to Heroes in Crisis, but
watch. Jimmy Olsen lifts the hammer.
Oh yeah. Jimmy Olsen could for sure.
That would be hilarious. He becomes like a superhero because he can lift Thor's hammer.
Oh my God, yes. I would literally do that.
Would it be a trademark dispute if DC actually did a story based off Thor in Norse mythology, Mjolnir and all? Would that be?
It depends, because there are certain elements of the Thor mythology that Disney/Marvel owns, and certain elements that are generic. It's why you have Thor and Thor Ragnarok in God of War Ragnarok without angering Disney, because Thor in of itself is a character that's public domain, but the elements, it's the whole reason why Pooh is public domain, but if you put a red shirt on him, suddenly Disney's ninjas come after you, because Disney owns the elements they've added to the mythology.
And by the way, I don't think Green Arrow could lift the hammer.
No. Black Canary probably, but not Ollie.
Sarah Lance probably could. Adam definitely could. The guy who played the Atom could.
And
for sure.
Tevye, we know about John and Mayday. We got it. I could imagine Black Canary throwing the hammer and then amplifying its speed with her screams.
Also, Supergirl can lift the hammer.
Oh, she can definitely.
Oh, yes,
I would say Supergirl can. Kara can.
Now, before we go, I want to acknowledge that we're going to do DCAMU reviews every 2 weeks. So Christmas Eve is going to be Justice League War.
Christmas Eve actually is going to be an actual Christmas movie.
Okay.
Okay. Which one are we doing?
Or actually, do you guys want to take Christmas Eve off because it's a holiday?
It don't matter to me. What do you guys think?
I don't mind. But what movie are we doing? Are we doing Batman Returns?
We could do Batman Returns. We could do Shazam.
Die Hard.
Well, in terms of superhero movies,
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Superhero movie.
Batman Sub-Zero.
John McClane is a superhero.
I'm talking about comic book superheroes, Nick.
I'm sure there's a graphic novel of Die Hard. So Die Hard is that.
Nick, stop. You're not helping.
I'm winning.
Okay, either Batman Returns or Batman Sub-Zero.
I vote for Die Hard.
We're not doing Die Hard, so
Okay, then we're doing Batman Returns.
Tevia will want Shazam.
Batman Returns. We haven't
loosely.
given any respect to Keaton yet.
All right, we'll do Batman Returns.
Batman Return.
If we do it, we may actually do. We could actually do it a day or because I'm thinking we should give we shouldn't do it any streams on Christmas. And by the way, I'm gonna go ahead and
Give it
drop
to him.
this.
Not impressed.
So actually, what we're gonna do,
Why did you post
Well-
that? Look,
well-
he's already here. Why did you give him his intro video so late?
what we'll probably do is we'll do comics instead of Comics League Dark. We'll do a late night review of Batman of that Batman movie because I'm not
Hopefully
so
not
sure.
too late. I've been getting to bed earlier.
Hopefully not too late. Yeah, probably about 12:15 for an hour. Just an hour. It doesn't take us that long to review these because I'm not going to do because I don't want to do a review on Christmas.
Can we start at
either
11?
day. No, I can't because I work.
Oh. Well, I don't think I'll be able to make it because I've been going to bed at 10, 11, 12.
Or I'll tell you what. Next week's movie review will be Batman Forever.
Batman Returns.
Returns, whichever one will be Batman Returns, and then we'll do that as our Christmas thing, and then I'll just put
Big
a post
Christmas
up
off.
that day and just say that here's our Christmas one.
So
All right.
it's next weekend.
Yeah, it is Batman Returns.
I'll
Do y'all
consider
wanna do a video
that. I'll
for the
consider
new
that.
year?
What?
I'll also consider that a very late birthday present.
All right, there you go.
And y'all want to do a video for the review for the new year, or you want to carry your thing over to 2023?
What do you mean?
I mean, a
video
year-end
review for the
wrap-up
new year?
a year-end wrap-up stream wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay, we can do that. Probably. Let me check the calendar real quick. We could do it on. Let's see. That's New Year's Eve. What do you guys think about doing it?
So
on...
here's if we have a New Year's stream where we're ringing the New Year's, I will play the New Year's theme because I can actually play that on a guitar.
All right, we could do it on New Year's Eve.
If we're gonna actually ring it, I'm willing to ring in the New Year's with you guys. If you want to do that, I will literally play on the do 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 do. I will play that on guitar at midnight. I'll give a live performance.
All right, we'll do that.
Okay, and any predictions y'all have for 2023, or any wish list you would have?
Zack Snyder
Well-
comes back for DC.
Well, this is not really a prediction. It's more of a promise. There will be 2 new comics from the Phoenix Press. There will be Turn Samurai issue 3 and Screecher issue 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a prediction. That's a promise.
Evia has an idea. How about the top 10 best and worst list for 2022?
Ooh,
That's a good one.
Bendis.
It's just Bendis. I don't have any. My list just repeats itself. Bendis.
Everything's
Okay,
coming up.
I think we can find some bad, if not equally as bad things as Ben.
Megan Fitzmartin and anything.
Sam Bags.
Mm-hmm.
We'll think of something. Oh, a Nightwing movie.
And we'll get a good movie slate for DC that includes a Man of Steel 2.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get announcements next year, that's for sure.
And
oh my God, can we just agree? Comic-Con next year is going to be crazy.
yeah, and by
definitely.
the way, James Gunn confirmed today on Twitter that Superman is a priority and that he likes Henry Cavill. So I think he just confirmed that Henry Cavill's staying.
It's not really, I wouldn't say it's a confirmation, but it's a good indication.
Well,
I'm not going to say this is happening, but I would be one happy camper if it did.
He didn't confirm. I think it would be reading too much into it to say it's a solid confirmation. Is it a good indication of where things are heading? Yes, but I just don't want to. I just don't want to rush to judgment and say, "Oh, he's coming back." It's these keep going back. I literally saw a video by minute that said Cavill is out. I'm just tired of the ping pong back and forth.
And by the way, today is also let's see, what is it? It's the 44th anniversary of Superman the movie.
Huh.
Christopher Reeves, baby.
I'm sorry, one of my favorite moments is when he busts down the door and Lex Luthor says, "It's open, come in."
Yeah, I love that because that's so Lex Luthor. And
Yeah.
But where was I saying? Oh yes, if this happened, I would be very happy.
Mhm.
I'm not saying Indiana 5 is going to be bad. It's just very likely to flop. But
It is going to
Kathleen
be
Kennedy
bad. I'm confirming it.
it is pretty much confirmed that she. Let me put it this way: a ton of reputable sources that have been right about every, like John Campion and all that stuff, have been saying that they're hearing that Kathy is going to leave before or after Indiana Jones. So
Well,
her time is numbered.
Here's the thing about Indiana Jones. About 6 months ago, we got the leaks regarding the time travel and whatnot, and the trailer pretty much confirmed the leaks. That is objectively true. Like that is leaks have been confirmed. So, and honestly, Kathleen's been on borrowed time ever since Rise of Skywalker. The question
Arguably since 8, actually, I would say.
Disney is in a very, very weird place right now because Iger's only back for 2 years. Supposedly, the CFO orchestrated Bob Chapek's departure, and he's pretty much running things. So it's like, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, I think my prediction: when Kathleen Kennedy takes over, either Dave Filoni or Jon Favreau is going to take over for Lucasfilm.
For the love of God, yes.
Or it's both of them.
Probably like a.
It could be
to-
both.
I think
Kind of like how
Jon
James
Favreau.
Gunn and Peter Safran do things now. And by the way, yes, we don't want any
Jon
more
Favreau
creatives to die.
because Jon Favreau has more clout within Disney because remember Jon Favreau started the MCU.
Yeah, he did Iron Man.
Also, he did Jungle Book, which was actually one of Disney's better live action, things. And he spearheaded Mandalorian. He has a lot of clout.
And then we can say that on his off time, Happy Hogan from Iron Man runs Disney. I mean, runs Star Wars. He runs Star Wars.
And you heard it yet first. When it's officially official, KK is standing down. There will be a party on this channel.
There will be a party on this channel. We'll all have Star Wars hats and everything.
I will probably be highest threat. So
I will ignite my Luke Skywalker lightsaber on stream with no lights on to really amplify the mood.
Trust me, we will all be loaded. JHeat, you better be drunk, high, or both.
I'll be hopped up on coffee.
That works too. Caffeine is
It'll just be us on screen doing this. Yeah.
Also, don't be surprised if I literally up to the Phoenix Press. I upload Kathleen Kennedy is no longer the CEO. Is no longer running Disney, and it's literally just ding dong, the witch is dead, the wicked is. It's literally just like I don't care if I get a copyright, whatever. I'm just gonna upload a 10-hour version of ding dong, the witch is dead, or just something.
Or it's like, and then at one point we will be saying na 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 na. Hey. Good. I thought I saw at one point him as Bloodshot. I must have Deadshot.
Yeah, apparently they're moving forward with Legend of the White Dragon, which that was kind of obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on that note, we're going to call it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this movie discussion and in-depth analysis of the history of DC Comics since the New 52. JHeat and Nick, it was a pleasure. Where can everyone find you? We'll start with you, Nick.
You can find me at Comics League, basically poking holes in Jared's sanity, but I'm not doing that. You can find me on Twitter at Product Access 1 and on YouTube searching the Phoenix Press.
What about you, JHeat?
Same at JHeat75 on Twitter, Jared Heath on YouTube, and again here Comics League.
Jay, I didn't know you were also an enjoyer of poking holes in Jared's sanity.
No, he doesn't. You do.
And I do it so well.
Yeah, so on that note, stay heroic, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. And Excelsior!